Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm doing something that isn't normally what I would do content-wise, but I'm going to be tier ranking every single movie that I've watched in 2024. I got this idea because I've seen a lot of book creators do this with all the books they've read, and I'd love to do that, but I haven't read that many books. But I have watched a couple of movies that I was like, you know what? I'm going to tier rank them because I think that would be fun. I should probably mention that I have not watched a lot of movies that came out during this year in 2024, simply because I just didn't feel like watching them. Some of them didn't interest me. I just, there's a couple here and there. I watched Gladiator 2 and I watched Inside Out, but yeah, not many newer movies on here. A lot of older films, older as in like 90s, early 2000s. We have a few Disney princess movies, so that's exciting, and let's get to it, I guess. I'm also referring to my diary here on Letterboxd, which is one of my favorite apps to track things. It's just super easy and convenient, and I can see all my ratings. So the different categories I have here, starting at the bottom, this would be like the worst movie I've watched. If I was an actor, I'd be embarrassed to be in this film. Don't look at the spelling of embarrassed. I looked at it for so long I can't even remember how it's spelled anymore. Can't remember what even happened. That's bad. If you can't remember what happened in the movie, obviously it wasn't that good. And then this is kind of a 2A, like, nah, like, it's whatever. Or I think I've seen this film before. And then the next tier, I would watch it again. Self-explanatory. Would highly recommend. And then my final best tier would be probably made this movie my personality for the rest of the year. This is like, would highly recommend would be a 5-star, but like the top tier would be like 5 stars, So let's get started. So the first movie I watched in 2024 was Jason Bourne, which is I think it's the 5th of the Bourne series, and I had previously watched them all, knew what they were all about, and this one's easy. I think I've seen this film because I have. Because every single Bourne movie is literally the same. The first movie is good, and then you get to the second movie and you're like, okay, that kind of seems a bit familiar, but it's just more sad. And then the third movie, you're like, okay, I'm done with this. And then they made more. They made one with Jeremy Renner, and Jason Bourne, who's played by Matt Damon, isn't even in it. And then they made this one, and I can't even remember what happened in it, but I just remember it was so freaking boring. I don't think we finished it even. It was me and my brothers, because we'd gone through the series and we both were like, I don't want to do this anymore. This is so boring. So I think I've seen this film before. Just not a good movie. If I didn't have a category called that, I would say I can't remember what happened, because I can't remember what happened. Okay, the next movie I watched was The Blind, which is a movie based on the story of Phil and Miss Kay from Duck Dynasty. And I actually watched this movie at my friend's house because she had it, and their family really enjoyed it. I would say it was okay. I think that it was really well done. Like, the cinematography was super nice. I wouldn't say the story is irrelevant. It's just, if you didn't grow up watching Duck Dynasty, I think you would probably not be interested in it, so I wouldn't highly recommend it to anyone. I'm gonna put it at would watch again. It's been so long, I watched this at the beginning of the year. This is all in chronological order, by the way. Anyways, and then the next movie I watched was Sound of Freedom, and we actually watched both of these movies at my friend's house. I would highly recommend this movie, especially because it did not get a lot of hype when it came out, and it was kind of neglected to put in theaters, but I think it's a very important movie that everyone should watch. And I did not cry while watching it, which usually when I cry in a movie, I automatically think it's really good and I make it my top movie. It's still really good though, even though I didn't cry. It made other people cry, so if you want a movie to cry about, but not it's not a sad romance movie. This is it's a very serious film, so just putting that out there. But I thought it was really good. It was really well done as well. The next movie I watched was The Devil Wears Prada. And I went into this totally blind. The only thing I knew about it was that Anne Hathaway was in it, and Meryl Streep, and what's his face? The guy from Mentalist. Simon Baker. I would highly recommend because I really enjoyed it. I watched it a second time and I still really enjoyed it. Her relationship with her boyfriend's a little flimsy, and I think that they kind of get back together a little bit too quickly, but it's, you know, it's all good. I think it's a cute comedy if you're looking for that, a very like chill watch. So I would highly recommend this movie. The next movie I watched was Anastasia, and I was not expecting that to be so good. I loved it, actually. I wouldn't say it was my personality, but I was pleasantly surprised. I knew it was good, and then I watched it and I was like, oh, wait a minute. This is really good, actually. I'm quite impressed. So that's where I would put that. I just had deja vu. I hate deja vu. I don't hate it, it's just weird. The next movie I watched was 27 Dresses, and I hate this movie. No, I should choose my words wisely. I don't like the characters, specifically the love interest. Such a douche. Don't get me started. I don't understand how the main character fell in love with this guy, because she's very, like, you know, she knows what she wants, and he's like, he's so annoying. I did not like him. And I don't understand why people think James Marsden is cute. I've never thought that in my life. And the line where he's like, get over here. What? Why would you? That's supposed to be romantic. Why would you say that? That's weird. That's weird. No. I can't even remember what happened. It's just, I feel like I'm being hard on it. I watched it recently with my mom, and I was half asleep while watching it. So I can actually remember what happened, but I didn't remember what happened when I was watching it. So I was like, that, you know what I mean? I can remember now because I just watched it, but when I watched it, then it was... We'll just set that aside. Maybe I'll revisit it. I don't know. The next movie that I watched was Interstellar. And this was my first Christopher Nolan film, quite possibly. And I've only watched 2, so yeah, I guess it is my first Christopher Nolan film. Huh, funny. Well, it's not that hard to compete. There's only one other Christopher Nolan film that I watched this year. So anyways, Interstellar, yes, watched it because I was like, everyone raves about this movie. People are obsessed with it. It's like so good. It has a good soundtrack. I need to watch it. So I actually caught it at a library because I didn't have any streaming service that had it. Yeah. Okay, here's the thing. I cried in this movie because there were sad scenes in it, and you probably know what scene I cried in because it's just, if you've watched that movie, you know. I don't want to be like every single white girl who's like, oh, Interstellar is my favorite movie. It's so intellectual. I can't say that because I actually don't really know what happened. There were so many scientific terms that you're like, what? But then when everything ends up kind of coming together, you're like, oh wow, that's cool. Now, I made my family watch it, and my dad was very critical of it, and towards the end, he was puzzling while we were watching it, so I don't think he really caught on to what was happening, but he had harsh things to say about it that I kind of maybe ruined it for me. So we're gonna pretend like I didn't hear those critiques. But he did have a good point. The whole scene, I'm gonna spoil it. Spoilers. The whole scene where he goes through the black hole, and then they kind of take their own creative liberties and have him doing like the thing on the bookshelf with his daughter and going to like, I don't even know what dimensions it was. And I know it's fictional, so you can take creative liberties in that sense, but it felt a little bit far-fetched that you were watching it and then the ending result, and oh my word, so sad that he had to see his daughter. He saw his daughter that last time. So sad. But the whole like ending of it was a little bit like your mind couldn't even like kind of comprehend or wrap around what was going on, so you're kind of watching it being like, what? So that's the only thing. And I think maybe there's people who understand what happened and who can, like Christopher Nolan, know. But I also don't think it's that hard to create a sci-fi film that is easy to understand, because I watched sci-fi films. The Martian, for one, is a very easily understandable sci-fi movie, and I think it's a really good movie. Not saying that Interstellar is a bad movie for me not understanding it, but it like could be better if it wasn't A, so far-fetched, and B, so hard to understand. That's just my 2 cents on it. It still made it my personality, so I have to put it up there. Okay, Pride and Prejudice. Now, this is the, which year is this? This is the 2005 version, so the one with Keira Knightley. It's still good. I want to watch the older one because I've heard that one's better. I have read Pride and Prejudice, so I kind of have the advantage of like being able to compare it to the book. I would put this at would watch again. I watched it with my mom, which I think everyone should go watch Pride and Prejudice with their mom if they can, because that's just, if their mom likes that. I guess I shouldn't say that because I know my mom likes it, but other moms might not. I would say read the book first. Well, I wouldn't necessarily say that because the book is sometimes hard to get through, but I would highly recommend reading the book before you watch the movie, and then you will love the movie more than you would. Because then you might watch it and be like, oh, I think I've seen this before. But you have to read the book to understand. So I'm going to put that I would watch again. It was really good. I enjoyed it. The next movie is a Marvel movie. And I kind of gave up on Marvel movies recently because they all suck now. They genuinely are so stupid. And so I'm going to put Wakanda Forever at I can't even remember what happened. Because I don't remember what happened. And I've heard people say this is a really good movie, and I'm sure that it is, but I couldn't care for it, which is my personal problem. That's my opinion of this movie. I just don't remember. And quite frankly, that's where we're gonna leave it at. The next movie, Dog. Part of me wonders if this is because these are all from April when I watch these movies. Now, I did not choose to watch this movie. Me and my friends did this thing where you like go to the Walmart movie bins, like the bins that are like full of $5 movies. We just dug our hand in there, pulled out a random one, and said, this is the one we're watching, and that was the one, and it's with Channing Tatum or whatever his face is. It was not good. I gave it, how many stars did I give it? I gave it 3 stars on Letterboxd. So not terrible, but not good. I wouldn't recommend this movie to anyone though. I was just kind of like, okay. Cool. That every single dog movie out there is the same. I kid you not. Okay, so here is where we get into some of the more classic Disney princess films. So the first one I watched was Beauty and the Beast, which I'd never actually watched the movie before, and this is actually like new. Most of these stories, I think, as every girl does growing up, you just know the story of Beauty and the Beast, but you don't actually read it or watch it. Actually, that's a lie. I had read it. I think that's how I knew the story. You know, like those really big like Disney books that have like pictures from the movie and then the basic story in it. That's what I had. So that's how I knew the story of Beauty and the Beast. I actually went and saw a musical for Beauty and the Beast when I was younger. It's always been my favorite Disney movie, my favorite love trope. So to watch the classic movie, I mean, would highly recommend, right? The next one. Yeah. So me and my mom and my sister watched this film because we were like, we need to like educate ourselves, you know, get with the, you know all of these movies. And my mom actually, she's like, oh, we're halfway through watching it. She's like, so where did the 7 dwarfs come in? And I was like, Mom, that's Snow White. I've never watched Sleeping Beauty before, didn't watch it as a kid. I didn't even know the story. And now I know why. I was terrified. The entire movie, I was like, oh my goodness, this is awful. This is scary. I'm scared for my life. It's just all over the place. And kind of dark in a way that you're like, oh, that is actually kind of scary. I don't want to say if I was an actor I'd be embarrassed to be in this film, but I should have came up with a better name for that. We're gonna put that at the bottom. I gave it 2 stars. You know what, I'll just put it as can't even remember what happened. But you know what I mean, right? Like, moving on. Unsung Hero. Unsung Hero actually was a newer movie that I watched in theaters, and I actually really enjoyed it, which is saying something because we watched it in those like front rows. The distortion was so bad on the face. I'll even insert a picture, like so bad, but the story was very well done, well written. I'm gonna put this as would watch again. I wouldn't say it was like the best movie ever, but it was good. It's a good Mother's Day film to watch, I think. And I don't know how relevant it is. I guess it's about family. And you know how much I love family films. So I give it a would watch again score. I gave it how much? How many stars? Oh, I gave it 4.5 stars on Letterboxd. You know what? Let's put it at highly recommend. I would highly recommend that movie. Beauty and the Beast, the live action one. I'm gonna put this as... I think I've seen this film before and I can't do that. It's supposed to be a remake. One of the better remakes, live action remakes I should say, of all the Disney princess movies. Yeah, I thought Emma Watson was really good in it. She's a good choice. Actually, all of the cast was a really good choice. Okay, next movie. Princess and the Pauper. This is hard because it is a kids movie. That's the thing. It's like you can't like be too hard on kids movies. Oh, I can't put it at no, I'm gonna do it. We're making slime. I sound like a child when I say that. We're making slime when we watched this movie, me and my friends. So I don't actually remember. All I remember was that Martin Short was in it. I think the only reason we watched it was because Martin Short was in it. So I didn't grow up watching Barbie. I just had two brothers and not any access to those films. My parents didn't care either. I didn't watch movies a lot. When I watched movies, I watched Mighty Machines growing up and Cars. So no Barbie for me. The Little Mermaid. This is not the live action. This is the animated one. I really want to watch the live action one, but I have yet to do that. It's on my watch list for 2025. I would watch it again. It wasn't bad. It's just like you just grow up knowing the story and you watch the movie and you're like, yeah, that's pretty accurate to what I remember. Moving on. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. I think that the Harry Potter movies are not bad. They're kind of their own category, so I don't want to compare this to the book. It's also been a while since I've read the book, so I don't really remember everything that happened. I think I did really enjoy this movie because there's so much emotion in it, and it's very thrilling also. I'm gonna put this at would highly recommend. The next movie. This is why I stopped watching Marvel movies. I made this category specifically for this film. If I was an actor, I'd be embarrassed to be in this film. I hated this movie, and everybody did. I don't think there was a single part. This movie should get taken off of Disney Plus. It's so bad. Such bad acting. The effects are even bad, which is weird because it's like a newer film and they suck. And I remember watching it the entire time thinking, this is a waste of my time. I didn't even want to admit that I had watched this movie. And the worst part was, going into it, I knew it was bad. And somehow it was way worse than what I expected. And I knew it was bad. So we're just, gonna put that there. The next movie is Red Notice. Now, so I had high expectations for this film. That sounded really, I had like high expectations. I watched this movie in a tent with my friends on a projector, but I don't think that would have changed my rating for this film. It was bad. There was nothing original about it. I know there was plot twists, crazy plot twists. By the time you got to it, you were just like, I don't care. I'm not surprised. And then the movie was done and you're like, I don't care. I really don't. And you know why I don't care? Because the actors they have in there is Ryan Reynolds, Dwayne Johnson, and Gal Gadot. And okay, Gal Gadot, I've actually never seen many movies from her, so I don't even know if I'm saying her name right. Yes, I know I haven't watched Wonder Woman. I'm getting to it, okay? If I look different, it is 101% because... Hang on, let me just angle that away from my face. It's 100% because the camera stopped recording halfway through me talking. So, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna continue on a little bit later into the day, but that's fine. It cut off while I was talking about Red Notice, I believe. So basically, I was just ranting about how annoying the movie was because it's just 3 A-list celebrities acting like themselves. So I'm not gonna go into that. Anyways, the next movie that I watched was Indiana Jones, and I believe it's called The Last Crusade. I gotta check on this for a minute. I would highly recommend this movie though. I think that it's such a good Father's Day film, and it's actually very captivating. Compared to the second one, it's far superior than the second one. The first one, maybe it's better. I don't think it is. I'd have to go rewatch them again. But I really enjoyed it, which, okay, go me, I suppose. Okay, so the next movie I watched was Enchanted, which I actually watched with my sister. And I think it's a really cute Disney film. I think I would watch it again. It's kind of like like one of those lighthearted movies you watch. It's funny. It's like it compares the like fairy tale to real life scenarios, which I think is funny because I mean it's funny now. So then the next movie I watched this year, which is actually a new movie that I watched in theaters, and that was Inside Out 2. Don't really know where to place this because it's kind of like it was kind of hard, not gonna lie, because when you watch the first one you have such high expectations and you know the second one's not going to be as good, but at the same time it's like it's Pixar and I feel like a lot of Pixar films are really really good. Yeah, this one sucked. It wasn't like there was anything you know what, I should say this, it is a kids movie, so I can't expect like everything to be perfect and exactly as I would hope, because it's not for me, it's for children, and that is a very critical thing to remember. But at the same time, it's like, you knew the first movie, it tugged at your heartstrings, and as a kid you'd watch it and you wouldn't understand really what it all meant, and then as an adult you'd watch it and you're like, oh my goodness, what? That I didn't catch that when I was younger because I didn't understand these things. My mind could not comprehend. Anyways, I feel like this movie it wasn't all that good. I think too, there is no bad guy in Inside Out 2. Like the bad person is joy, thinking that only it's good to feel joyful emotions when it's not. So, when there's a character that is causing trouble and it's not somebody who necessarily needs to be there, you know? I'm not saying that anxiety is bad, but like, they just, you know, it wasn't the same as it was. So I would say, meh. It was like, I don't really care for it too much. But anyways, the next movie I watched was The Ultimate Gift. And going into it, I had no idea what it was about. Ending it, I was kind of like, what just happened? Can't even remember. Don't know. What? What happened? It was kind of like, it's like the inheritance games, but he inherited like a thing, and his grandfather is like super wealthy, and then he like gave it all to charity or something, and the son is like trying to figure out why, or I don't know. Anyways, these like going on this whole mission, he ends up like going to like across the world and being in a prison camp. It was weird. And then there's this girl with leukemia and he's in love with them. It was weird. Anyways, continuing on. The next movie that I watched was Pitch Perfect. I don't know how I feel about this one because I've seen so many clips online from the movie. So when I was watching the movie, I was pleasantly surprised to find out that all of the good, funny scenes are literally seen out everywhere. It was, yeah. It wasn't for me, you know? I thought it might be, and I watched it, and I was like, you know what? Like, I couldn't care less about what's going on. I don't think it's that funny. So maybe I just don't, I'm a hard person to please, but that's just my opinion on that. Emma, I watched that movie with my mom, and it is a Jane Austen, based on the Jane Austen book, Emma. So it's pretty older too. It's an older movie, I think. I don't want to say the year, but it was okay. I mean, I would watch it again, maybe. If I watched it with my daughters, maybe, but yeah, I haven't read the book, so I can't compare it to the book, but it was decent. The next movie, Mean Girls. Like something about this movie, I was like, oh my goodness, how have I not seen it? I love it. I would highly recommend it. I wouldn't recommend a lot of the stuff that happens in the movie, but I would recommend the overall movie because it's good. It's very, it's funny too. The next movie I watched, Oblivion. What on earth? What in this sci-fi movie? I genuinely was like, it's been like every single sci-fi, which is why I put it in. I think I've seen this film before because at first I was like, what on earth is happening? And then I was like,
oh, I know what's gonna happen because I've seen something exactly like this. It's just, I watched it for Tom Cruise and I was disappointed. So the next movie I watched, The Patriot. Put that at my top 10. Thank you. I definitely made this my personality, and I don't know what it is. It might just be movies with dads or husbands whose children or wives get killed. Spoiler, children or wives get killed, and he goes on a whole like revenge streak. I love it. I live for it. It was so good. And I don't even know American history. Well, I know it from Hamilton, and I'm Canadian, by the way. Don't be concerned. I'm Canadian. I don't know American history very well, but my brothers wanted to watch it, and I was like, fine, I'll watch it. And by the end of it, I was like, can we watch it again, please? Because I want to see Mel Gibson fight off Lucius Malfoy. And Heath Ledger's in it, too. Heath Ledger's in it, which kind of made it sad. But, yeah, I thought that was... It was not the one I expected to be made into my personality, but here we are. Okay, so the next movie I watched was The Proposal, and I actually really did not like this movie. The first half is good, and then kind of the last half wasn't, and that's why I would be embarrassed to be in this film. Truly. It's like they, once they move to Alaska, everything changes, and the characters all suck. I hated the grandma so much. No, I've never hated a character who was so innocent in my life, but she was annoying. And the plot, not the plot necessarily, but the whole like outline is very, very similar to a Sandra Bullock movie titled While You Were Sleeping, which I just watched actually, and watching it I was like, wait a minute, this is like The Proposal. So I think maybe The Proposal needs to be in. I think I've seen this film before because it's very similar to While I Was Sleeping. Hear me out. Sandra Bullock, her character, fake dating somebody, doing it for some reason, whatever that is fuzzy, and then watches fake dating, gets to know the family, and realizes that she actually really cares about this family, and maybe she doesn't want to be fooling or tricking them, and then waits until they almost get married, and then at the altar she confesses the whole thing. That is literally every single Sandra Bullock movie I've seen so far. I've only seen 2, but that's funny that it happened twice, you know, in the same 2 movies. So that's just my like 2 cents on The Proposal. Other than that, it was kind of like, it was too hyped for me. I think what it was I was expecting, if I had went into it not expecting anything, I would have been like, oh, this is great, but I'd known so many people telling me it's such a good movie. I'm like, all right, like I can do it. The beginning sounds interesting, and then it like gets kind of weird. So, oh my word, the next movie was my second Christopher Nolan film, which was Oppenheimer. My only R-rated film that I've ever watched. There's a reason for that. I wanted to watch this in the theaters. I didn't, and randomly one night I was like, I feel like I should watch Oppenheimer. It was on Prime. What can I say? So I watched. I was very confused. No idea what was happening at all, anytime. And I feel bad because I'm sure it's a good movie if you understand what's happening. But yeah, I can't remember what's happening. So I'm gonna put it at I can't remember what even happened because I didn't. It was too complicated for my little brain to process. And that is that. But I know like that movie was on so many people's tops of the year of 2022 when it came out. Okay, so me and my friend watched all the Twilight movies in one night, which you can actually watch that video. I'll have it linked. So I'm just gonna go ahead and rank all the Twilight movies based on which ones I think were best. I think the first Twilight film was actually really good. I would highly recommend it. It's just a sheer iconicness of it. That's not even a word. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I really was entertained because it was just kind of weird. The next movie, New Moon, I would watch again. I actually thought it was pretty good too. And then Eclipse, to be honest, Eclipse, I don't remember what happened in that movie. Like, I don't, what could have happened in the movie. Don't know. Don't care. I just don't know why that one. I don't remember. I do remember Breaking Dawn Part 1. Oh my goodness. That was weird. I was a little bit disturbed by it and would be embarrassed to be in it. And then the last one, Breaking Dawn Part 2, I would put it at would watch again, mainly because You know what? I'm just gonna do would watch again because I think I would. And the plot twist on that one, the plot twist got me so good. Yeah, it's really good. Favorite character, Carlisle, always Carlisle, and then eventually Team Charlie. Okay, next movie, The Fault in Our Stars. Yes, I cried, but I would not care for it as much, which is why I'm putting it at meh, because I would not watch this film again. Father of the Bride, oh my goodness. I watched some good classic movies here. I would put this at would watch again. I say it's good, but it's good, that is good. Same with My Big Fat Greek Wedding. Loved it. You know I love a good family movie, and that one was just pure entertainment. So funny. Mrs. Doubtfire, super cute. Super cute. The one line was like, help is on the way, dear. That I did not know came from the movie when I was watching it. I was so excited. So that is going on there. And those three were just phenomenal movies to watch on a row. Numbers for Groove was not. It was I think I had high expectations because I heard people talk about it a lot, and I don't know, whenever it was like a Disney animated film, kind of the older style of animation, you're like, oh, it's gonna be good. No, not always good. That movie, not that great. Another movie that was not that great, The Book Thief. Now, I read the book. Book was really good. Highly recommend reading it, actually. The movie, however, I don't feel like it was able to kind of encapsulate what the book was. It's not bad. Meh, yeah, I would say that. It was just kind of, you couldn't capture the depth of the book itself because there's so much like extra like handwriting and stuff, and he had demonstrations drawn out and all this, and it was like such a collection of so much thoughts and story that all worked out together, and the movie just didn't have that. And honestly, if I had watched the movie without reading the book, I would have been like, what? This is kind of basically every World War II movie, but the main character likes books, which is also a very common theme in a lot of World War II movies and books. So I had to put that there because the movie was not that great compared to the book. Pretty Woman. Oh my goodness. This is a good movie. I wouldn't recommend because, well, I wouldn't normally recommend being a prostitute, but it's a very lighthearted movie, and you know what, if you want to watch a girl get spoiled by her rich man, then good movie for that. A Christmas to Remember. Oh, this was a good movie in the context of Hallmark movies. I should say that first. I think it's a good Hallmark movie. I don't think it's a good like movie itself. The story sucks, but that's like everything connecting to but that's like every Hallmark movie, you know? But like out of all the bad movies that come out of Hallmark, I would highly recommend this one in the context of Hallmark movies, not normally. So that's why that's there. Because I don't think I would watch it again either, which is the problem with like my maybe my tier listing isn't the best, but it's okay. Polar Express. This is where we get into our Christmas movies. I don't want to be mean. I don't believe in Santa Claus, obviously. So I don't want to, it kind of makes me obviously not like the movie automatically. Even for kids though. I mean, this is a kids movie, and it was like, it freaked me out. So I don't understand why people like that movie. It was kind of weird. I'm gonna put that at, yeah. No, I don't know. You know what? Yeah, we're just gonna leave it there. Because ultimately, it's my list. If I don't like it, then it's going on the bottom. Sorry. The only good scene I remember was the train scene on the ice. It was good. How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Oh my goodness. This is the Jim Carrey Grinch. Never watched it in my life. Never thought I would. It was just kind of like, I wasn't disappointed, but I was a bit like, okay, yeah, so this is it. This is a Ron Howard movie that I'm just gonna hate on because I don't like the way he films stuff. I just don't like that style. It freaks me out, and I don't understand how those adults are so obsessed with the Grinch. Don't understand it. He's funny. He's funny. I'll give him that. But it was just kind of like, I'll never understand. Okay, now, Gladiator. Obviously, I watched the first Gladiator before I went and watched Gladiator 2 in theaters. So, and I knew kind of what to expect. I always wanted to watch Gladiator, and then I never got around to doing it. And then I like found myself actually having to do it because I was gonna go watch it in theaters. Where would I put it? I feel like neither one was better than the other. Like, I still think Gladiator 2 was just as good as Gladiator. So I would put Gladiator. I would highly recommend watching it because it is pretty good. It's a good movie. And then obviously Gladiator 2 I would also highly recommend watching it. I would say the one thing about Gladiator that everyone told me when I went to go watch it was, oh, it's really gory. And I was like, yeah, I know. Watched it and I was like, oh, hey, it's actually not that bad. And then I watched Gladiator 2. And I was like, oh, that is very vivid. Vivid. But it's okay. I got through it and I really enjoyed it. There's a little bit more, it's very brave compared to Gladiator, where they take more, not creative liberties, I guess, because apparently they did fill this Coliseum with water and put sharks in it. I'm not entirely sure, but my cousin and my brother, who are really into history, told me that actually happened. So I was like, oh, okay. I thought it didn't, but it's just, there was oh, wow. They did not have that in the first Gladiator, like monkeys and stuff. But that honestly makes the movie really great, though, that it's not the same, Because I feel like if you just had another gladiator fighting like a tiger or another a very dressed up figure, it just wouldn't be the same, So that was it. That's all of the movies I watched in 2024. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you made it this far, or if you left because you hated my readings, sorry, that's how it is. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!